Today was mostly spent traveling back from the countryside where I went for my dad's little birthday thing. Um, and I was pretty out of it most of the day. Didn't have much time for starters, but also just was very tired and yeah, I didn't end up doing pretty much any work. I had some stuff that I wanted to catch up on a little bit, but I didn't really get around to any of it. Um, but I'm pretty okay with it because I know that I just I needed to take a little bit of time to just reset things, and I don't mind doing that every once in a while, especially if it means that like I'll hit the ground running better tomorrow. Um, yeah, I will say that I am just kind of counting the days to be back in London. I'm just here for a week. And it's not completely my routine. And having spent so much of the last two, it's a pity that I really regret. It's a pity that I didn't start documenting things earlier. But for the past 2 years, I have not spent 2 months consecutively in one place, and so as a result, now I'm very focused on trying to be in one place when I'm in London and not going anywhere else, and kind of building roots and relationships there and things like that. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of waiting to hit the ground running again there, and planning meetings and things in the meantime while I'm here. That's pretty much it. I have a driving exam on the 20th, so on the 19th. So I'm waiting until then, and then as soon as that's done, I can head back. That's pretty much the only other reason I'm here, and yeah. But today's nothing too exciting. Yeah, just a lot of kind of resetting things, and just doing little daily bits and bobs. Like I try and focus my attention on a couple daily actions. Like the small things go a long way and a lot further than the very big things. In fact, I would say these videos have been an example of that. And I basically have 4 things that I do on a daily basis, and that is record a video, write down 3 things that I'm grateful for from the previous day. And that the reason I do the previous day is because it forces me to jog my memory more and to actually think like, what did I do yesterday? Like, I woke up and that I think is a valuable thing. And a recent addition, the latest addition, has been 3 things that I've learned. And more recently, I've actually focused on not just 3 things that I've learned, but I now focus on a particular topic. So at the minute, I've been studying. Well, I've just started studying stuff on philosophy, but the past 2 months or so, I've been looking into a lot of like classical antiquity history, so stuff like the Greeks, the Romans, a lot of history around that kind of time and stuff, and that's been pretty interesting. And I'll just read about it, and then I'll pick 3 specific things, and I'll write them down. And actually, I've started to do that in flashcards. And the reason I do it in flashcards is because I now also study random flashcards I write those 3 new things, and then I go and pick some old ones to kind of look at. I usually write the new things every once in a while. Maybe there's a day where I just had 1 or 2 new things, and I spend most of my time revising the old ones. But the reason for that change is because learning is incredibly good for your brain. And so I wanted to somehow incorporate that to do on a daily basis. And like the gratitude thing, the first time I did it, there was no effect for the first 6 to 9 months. And so I'm expecting the same thing from this one, and just kind of I want to see how it goes. But I will say I've paid a lot more attention to things, and I've learned a lot, which has been nice, about stuff that I would otherwise not study. And so I'm quite excited about that. I'd say I'm particularly interested in studying more philosophy and history at the minute. But yeah, so that's 3 things. 3 things I've learned, 3 things I'm grateful for. Record a video, and then there's one more thing which I'm now forgetting, which is ironic because I do these on a daily basis, so that I have a checklist. And this also is testimony to just how tired of things, and how tired my brain is overall. It's completely blanking me now. But anyway, I just realized the last thing was I was being a complete idiot. It's just like I basically spend 30 to 60 minutes on one specific focused task that is on the most important bottleneck blocking, activity that I have. So for me, in that case, right now, that is marketing, and so it's actually it's just like one key primary action for me right now. That's scheduling more meetings in London, and so I'll take some time to do that every day and just message people and basically I've made everything so it's like so I can do it in a relatively small period of time, and on my phone. And the reason that is because I want to lower the barriers to to complete these actions as much as possible, because that means that I can complete them every day. If I make the barriers too high, the likelihood that I fail becomes a lot higher. And when you have to do something on a daily basis, like you have to do a lot of things on a daily basis, just as a human being. There's a bunch of things going on in your life constantly, all the time. And so if you want to commit to daily actions, you need to make sure those barriers are sufficient, they're sufficiently lowered so that you can actually guarantee success over the long term. That's one of the reasons why I record these on my phone, often without a microphone and without a proper setup and things like that, is because if I want to maintain them, on a daily basis, and I have a life that kind of requires me to move around, and I'll often break my routine, I have to make the habit as simple and easy to complete as possible. And so, yeah, I'd credit a lot of my ability to stick with things from that. And yeah, there's just those four things. This recording thing, I would say, is like, this is a long-term project that I'm very interested in building. Like just recording day by day, specific to my business. I like, even just for me as a personal project, this is incredibly interesting. Like I think I'd love it. The gratitude and the learning thing, I think these are things that compound greatly. The gratitude I know compounds. The learning I don't know, but I'm testing, and I think it will. And then the one task on hand. I think it's just important to, like, every day push the needle forward even a little bit. And I've been doing that recently, and that's yeah. I basically just do those four things at the bare minimum on a daily basis, and then on top of that, my work and my meetings and everything else. But yeah, I would say, like, keeping those four things in mind helps me kind of stay on track with everything that I want without being overwhelmed either. And yeah, I also have a weekly thing of, at least once a week, appreciate somebody. So go out of my way to say thank you, write a card, give a gift, something like that. I also have a thing to work out 5 times a week. When I say workout, I just mean, like, break a sweat, like do something to break a sweat. So, I can do it at home if I need, whatever it is, but so relatively lower barriers to entry. And yeah, those are pretty much just the actions I complete on a regular basis, which I think help on these days when I'm, like, tired and I don't really feel like doing anything. I still just do the important little bits and bobs, and that compounds and goes such a long way in the long run. Yeah.